rather scary scene took place in one of the squares in which Juventus fans gathered to watch the Champions League final this weekend. It was a little confusing at the time because, of course, everyone's focus is on the game, but in the back of everyone's mind, unfortunately, because of the certain events that have been going on regularly in the world today, is that there is that kind of consistent fear that something might occur. I mean, I know we're told and we try our best to come forward with statements as to do not let fear take over, because that's what terrorists want. This is kind of an indicator as just basically, one, how stupid you are if you bring a fucking firecracker to that. Like, I don't care if you're bringing it as a celebration, just like try your best to understand that something like that is going to cause some sort of panic. Any loud bang or loud noise can cause panic, and it can cause people to be injured. I think the toll at the moment is around 1,500 people were injured. That is the toll.
1,500 people were involved in the Stampede.
The injury toll has risen to 1,500 people from a crowd stampede.
Oh wow, that's 1,500 people.
Yeah, so there's more injuries being recorded as it goes on. Some of them are minor. There's actually some that are pretty serious. I think there's an 8-year-old, 7-year-old who's reportedly in critical condition because he sustained head injuries. So take a look here. It just shows, I guess, how easily people can be panicked in this day and age with certain things, and who can really blame them? So, as you can see, it's spread pretty fast. I believe there was a bang that was heard, and then people instinctively just tried to get out the way, not realizing that they're in a massive crowd of people and how easily people can be squashed together. So it could have been a lot worse. I think let's just be thankful that no one at this moment has been fatally injured, but it's just it's a sign as to, I mean, how much panic can spread this day and age when it's something that isn't even a threat at that point in that example, but it still took over.
Still a scary scene for one when it comes to any kind of playoffs final, any Champions League final, it doesn't matter, especially when it comes to world football where they take their teams like a religion, especially a team like Juventus, Real Madrid, with the followings that they have. And these events are supposed to bring the community together. So for the Juventus fans who did not travel to Cardiff, Wales to watch the final itself, which there was a lot of, if you saw in the crowd, I actually looked up, this was about 45 minutes away from Juventus Stadium, in, what is it, Piazza San Carlo, and they had a nice viewing party, which at this point we all do. Everyone's got a viewing party. So the point is, it's a community event, brings everyone together, and the worst thing that could happen is any kind of fear that you would have of even a catastrophic event, especially given in light of what has happened recently. It's just not the scene you want to see, and people get hurt, and that's actually a common theme when it comes to like mass crowds. The one that I'm relatively know more about happened in Rhode Island, state in New Jersey, not in state in New Jersey, state in the United States. There was a station house fire, which is a club, after a pyrotechnic accident, and it wasn't that the place was set on fire. The alarms went off, but because there was only congestion to get out of it, there was a stampede of people, and many people were injured, and some were unfortunately killed. So this happens when there can be a stampede, and you saw how quickly it moves. If you're in the middle of that, well, there's no way to get out of it. It's just hopefully you can stay on your feet and help your neighbor, but a lot of people are obviously trying to get the hell out of that situation.
Well, the most notable example, which hits close to home for many fans watching, football fans, is the Hillsborough disaster, which happened many years ago.
Much better example.
Still awfully covered by certain newspapers such as The Sun, who shall not be spoke of anymore, so an issue. But yeah, that's an example of where a mass crowd of people in organization, and it just resulted in one of the most horrendous tragedies, I think, in world football that anyone has ever seen. So in this example, we're thankful that no one at this moment was fatally injured, and we hope that those that are injured make a speedy recovery. But I mean, the only thing I can lastly state is if you're at this situation and you're maybe bringing firecrackers or fireworks, or I don't know, anything that can be falsely interpreted as the as either a bomb or a firearm or anything. Like, I get it. It's all part of the experience. I mean, fireworks in a crowd is what football is known for at times. I mean, it is a spectacular thing to see when someone lets off a coloured firework in a stadium, specifically when it's green, as I like to see when Celtic fans do it. But at this moment, we need to understand that people can associate it as something else, and it can cause a panic like that. Even if you're just letting off a firecracker and you think it's funny or whatever, like, it could have resulted in people being killed, and that's just an unfortunate reality of how sensitive the issue is at the moment. So yeah, as for the game itself,
I'm heartbroken.
Watched it.
Yeah.
Sad to see Gianluigi Buffon not raise the Champions League trophy, Jason.
You got to earn it, though. As I said, I wanted.
They were by far and away nowhere near as good as Real Madrid. Like, that's just.
I thought you said I was.
No, they were.
They were not. That is objectively true. I am nowhere near as good as Real Madrid.
I can agree with that. We can both agree.
3 out of the last 4 for Real Madrid. Maybe 3 out of the next 4. I mean,
you know,
team looks unstoppable.
Yeah.
But I was pretty amped when Mandzukic scored. Mandzukic, sorry.
What a goal.
Football fans. I can't believe he tried it. I thought the best. Ronaldo saw that.
Tried.
Hold my beer. Except he spilt his beer. But I mean, when there's just the difference in athleticism. And look, I'm not saying that Mandzukic is not an athlete, but just the difference between when Mandzukic does it and scores, I get it, and Ronaldo is completely airborne. It's like, come on, man, you got to finish that. You got to finish that.
You got to do that.
But it's just funny that that's, you know, part of who he is. As he sees that, he goes, I can
I'm gonna try it. That arrogance takes over.
But as for the match, what crushes me is the one side bet I put down was 3-1 Real Madrid on the final scoreline. What is it, Asensio?
Asensio.
God damn it, man! What are you doing?
Just comes in.
You know how mad I was when that went in.
Bangs it in the corner.
Like, there's no need for it. And they were trying to get Bale.
It could have been 4 and 5, man. I mean, it could have been 5 or 6. Sorry.
You got to earn it, and it's not just the Buffon thing. I mean, he let in some. First of all, Casemiro is one that took a wicked deflection he was close to, but the back 3, Barzagli, Bonucci, and Chiellini, that second half, they looked like old men. In the first half, they played great, undoubtedly, and I thought we were looking at a 1-1 or a 2-2 match heading into extra time until around the 55th minute, and all hell breaks loose.
Well, I was talking about the battle on the wide areas where you compensate, unfortunately, against Real Madrid, is they have so much of an attacking threat, not just in their wide areas, that they can punish you. Like, if you often seen Isco was finding little pockets in and around wide areas and finding space where Alves or Sandro was pushing a little too higher up, and that's the way that Juventus. That's the way that Juventus have played. They're not going to adjust for Real Madrid, but as soon as it went 1-1, Juventus did sit back. I did state that if Khedira and the likes of the other midfielders playing alongside him were dropping so far deep, Pjanic, then there's gonna come a point where Real Madrid are gonna break through, and they had several chances before they got that crucial second goal that Casemiro banged in. And the third goal was the final nail in the coffin, and that came, as you mentioned, it was either tired legs or it was just being lackadaisical. They waited. It was Sandro, I believe, who was waiting on the pass, and Modric just picked his pocket and made an overlapping run. As I said, Sandro was a little too higher up, and he cut it back, and Ronaldo finished it. And yeah, they try. It's exhausting to try and withstand. People might think it's more tiring to push higher up and get out. I don't think so. When you're just constantly being bombarded, wave after wave of attack, it's going to come a point where you're going to break.
That's where Juventus was comfortable all through the Champions League.
Against teams that want Real Madrid.
I know, that's what I'm saying. They did it against Barcelona too, but at the same point, obviously this Barcelona was a different team than Real Madrid, and they've now won 3 of the last 4, as we mentioned. Going forward, Zidane's a decent head coach. He's a good manager, I guess. 18 months, and he's got like 57 trophies.
And the Ballon d'Or is already wrapped and on its way.
That's been settled.
To Cristiano Ronaldo. Champions League, Euros, La Liga, another Champions League.
There was a major transfer this morning too. I forgot what it was, but it was. Let's see if I can pull it up in a second. Let's see. Maybe not.
If it's going to be
PSG,
Virgil van Dijk.
No, PSG is probably signing Pepe. Which I thought was really interesting because it's been like a decade that he's played at Real Madrid.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I thought Pepe in the Euros was phenomenal, and it just kind of shows how much depth they have. That arguably the best defender in the Euros is second string to Varane and Sergio Ramos.
True.
Like,
but hey, man,
what are you supposed to do?
Good for PSG.
Yeah, good for them if they're taking him on board. Great signing. So yeah, that's what happened. Unfortunate instance. Great cup final either way, and we'll be back with plenty of more world football news as it unfolds. Hit us in the comments and on all social media and all that other stuff where you can find Jason tweeting, taking pictures, Insta-facing.
What? Snap face, your face.
Snap face, every face.